Writing malware for CCDC.
Oh shit.
Take notes.
Can they hear it? Like, I would just
So
bet.
you're close.
Oh, this is your seat. I'll sit to you then.
In fact, you're almost too loud.
I am too loud. So I should just turn off the stream then. And we should just go home.
No, because the IRC would really appreciate that, I'm sure.
Angry emails with macros.
Alright. So, this is my only transition. Watch.
Is it random?
Hmm?
Is it the random transition?
No, it's white. You just didn't see it. There you go. That's my transition. Alright. So, intro is, I've been doing Mid-Atlantic for as many years as it's been going on. I think I missed the first one where I didn't actually wanted to be there anyways because they broke into the building and they got kicked out for the rest of CCDC. Like, ever. So I'm glad I wasn't there the first year. So I just recently, as of last year, got accepted to the red team for a national CCDC, and well, as a guest, and now I'm confirmed as a CCDC red teamer for nationals from now on, which is a really cool honor. I love it. Like, it just blows me away. Anyways, so the early years of CCDC, of the malware we used to use. Poison Ivy. We sat there and Nuclear Rat. So, and more lols. So it's essentially we changed all the phones in all of the teams to say whatever we wanted to, and rerouted their CEOs' phone calls to us instead of them. So, lessons learned from the red team is killing processes and watching students try and open them is hilarious. Supplying endless amounts of I like turtles to you message boxes, which didn't allow them to click anywhere else, was fun too. Recompiling bind servers that's only answer to please.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Was awesome. So essentially, if they wanted to get to Microsoft.com to get patches, they had to say please.microsoft.com. And it was fun. It was just watch the screen. There was nothing serious about it. Like, we didn't grasp why CCDC was fun or was important. We just thought it was a fun way to screw with college kids. And then the blue teams kind of learned. They started patching. They started doing AV.
Can you go back one slide? There's yeah. All right, thanks.
Why?
That was just there's a flag that I wasn't aware of.
Oh, and B?
Yeah.
So B shows the processes. It takes a lot longer to run if you're doing XP because it has to map stuff instead of in Windows 7 where it just instantly.
Got
it. But the problem was they started to learn Cisco ASAs and were crashing them more than they were keeping them up. So they did our job for us.
Still happening today.
Still happening today. 2 years passed like this. Like, the red teams were like, ha ha ha, and the blue teams were like, ah. And the red team adapted and started using the little bit bigger tools, right? So, Immunity Canvas, Core Impact, Metasploit. You can know what I want, John. I want. So this was a little funny story that I'm kind of caveating with. So on Thursday night, the week before DC, or Thursday before CCDC, I'm like, crap! I just got this PDF with from Tim, the guy who runs CCDC for Mid-Atlantic, saying, and he always gives it to us. It's this press release for the company of whatever they're emulating in CCDC, and at the very bottom of the press release, it was like, we've just fully implemented IPv6 across our whole enterprise.
Oh.
So I'm like, Joe, hey, I need to learn IPv6 quick. So he was awesome and spent 6+ hours from like 8 o'clock p.m. on to teach me IPv6. And I went, okay, can't really use that. I can use this. I can use this. I can put this together. Awesome. Then my family got sick and I couldn't make it to CCDC. And then everybody got better that Saturday. And Sunday I went, and the red team was like, they've locked us out of everything. And I went, oh, crap. So anybody hit IPv6? No. Okay, let me log in real quick and hit every single box with the MSO67 over IPv6. And I owned them. So, but it was still really like, launch MSO67. Crap, they killed my shell. Launch MSO7. Crap, they killed my shell. There really wasn't any lateral movement. There wasn't any extra like persistence. It was just like, yay, I want to watch our screen. Like, when did this actually get serious, right? So the blue teams learned with system internals tools. They started actually watching and staring at TCP view and a process explorer. Like, you could go into the blue team area and see all of them with those two. They strike next to each other. So anytime we got on a box, they'd see a new process and you'd go, goodbye. They'd see a new connection and go, oh, goodbye. It's like, crap. So they finally got a little bit more decent at their ASAs.
Lies.
There were more teams that were alive later in the game, right? A few more years passed this way. And the red team sort of evolved. So this is kind of where we are today, or at least last year, using more non-direct connections like the HTTPS stuff and HTTP modules and that. There's very little DLL injection or DLL stuff happening. There's no PowerShell stuff at all happening yet. There are a lot of rootkits, for Linux and Windows, and none of the teams ever got out of rootkits. But there was still zero lateral movement. Like, we'd get on a box and we'd just, like, I got it, okay. Hopefully they don't kick me off. And then either they would move on to another team and say, oh, we've got this team, or not do anything with it. It was like, cool. Like, we're really not getting any better. Then Rob got angry. Really angry. Like, I hate losing connections to boxes that I own because they're mine after I run code. So, in 2012 at Nationals, I broke out a new little tool. All it did was sit on the box, not make any connections out, and uninstall MSO67. Did it silently. So when they started to install the new patch, it finished installing. 30 minutes later, Windows Update said, MSO7 needs to be patched. Yeah, same with MSO 950. So I created a way that I could get back on that system anytime I wanted without having to run code on it. Essentially, like, all it was running the uninstaller. So, and it'd be silent. Like, this wouldn't pop up. Like, you got to give me more credit than that. So it was silent and didn't reboot, and I could get on the box whenever I wanted with the old MSO67. This year, Rob gets even. So I could get back on the box, but they kind of found that out and figured out a way to patch it and kill my stuff off. Well, I don't like that. Once I own a box, it's mine. God damn it. Let me introduce you to lonomyosis. Lonomyosis is the medical term of when you actually touch one of these things, which is this guy's idiot move. So, lonomyosis, also known as the assassin caterpillar, in less than 30 seconds after exposure, you start doing these three things.
Oh, you start dying.
There's actually a picture online if you look at what happens when you touch this specific one, Lonomya obliqua. There was actually a picture online of this guy who had touched it like 2 hours earlier, because it's not fast. It doesn't kill you instantly, but you are in so much pain you want to die, right? So this guy touched it 2 hours earlier, and his arm was drooping with skin, and it was blood. His blood was filling up because it couldn't stay in the vessels. This is how it kills you. So it basically is an anticoagulant. So it makes it so that your blood can't clot and can't like stay together. So even your heart pumping the blood is painful. So this really doesn't kill you outright because they actually have an anti-venom for it.
But we
Right.
digress.
And this was where?
Rob's
Oh.
Thank you.
Bear back.
It's actually a very, very rare species, so you don't expect to sit down at, on a park bench and go, start running away from every caterpillar. So how does this translate to CCDC? All blue teamers, please step out of the room. Figured no one would do that. So my goals when writing this malware was, 1, make it so that you couldn't clock the machine. You could not secure it, any way, shape, or form. Like, I wanted to make it so that I could get on whenever I damn well please, because it was my box, damn it. 2, I wanted to automate lateral movement. And 3, distributed and redundant tendrils. So the interesting thing about this oblique wheel one is that if you cut stuff off so that it doesn't have the venomous tendrils, within weeks it comes back. Because that's its defense mechanism. So obviously it wants it back. So that's how scientists are kind of researching this specific caterpillar. They keep one and cut off all the tendrils and take all the venom and then wait for it to grow back. You can step out of the room anytime you want. All right. So, impossible to secure. How do you do that? 1, GPOs. I make it so that there is not a single security setting that I have missed in all, what is it now, Windows 7, 8,000 GPOs that is on at all. So I either disable, make it 0, and the cool thing about this thing is that it keeps going through it. So if you say, I don't want to do LM storage anymore, it goes, oh, really? Back. Security settings. It makes it so that, I'll leave some of that to CCDC. But so the security settings, like your firewall goes off, your like it doesn't look for Windows updates anymore, or it looks for Windows updates other places, turns signing off of Windows updates, stuff like that. C, permissions. So what happens when Anonymous can, or anyone on the planet without authentication can psexec your box?
Fun stuff.
So what happens when you psexec to a box? Your system, right? Yeah. So if I have access to 445, guess what? I'm system.
Or if anyone has access.
If you change your password, don't care. I'm system. My box. Do you understand this now? All right. So I also learned from 2012 that if I uninstall a patch, it registers as an uninstalled patch. Well, if I replace the DLL in memory with the vulnerable one, I can still exploit it. And then I say, oh, Windows, when you restart, you need to replace this DLL so that I don't have to reload it back into memory. And guess what? MS-08067, still patched. Not really. What?
Agent can be messed with
Disabled?
Or used to replace stuff with other stuff. Nice.
what agent?
Don't tell him.
I better hope it's on the stream, damn it.
Earmuffs.
Advanced firewall rules. So this is one of those PowerShell things that are like, why did they invent it? There's an advanced firewall rule that says, I override everything. So you put a deny any at the very top, so it says, I will disable all things talking to this box at all times. It goes, no, override. Thank you. Goodbye.
That's gotta be some fail-safe kind of thing. Like, that's the only reason I would see that being a thing.
I have to, once you get that, the next one, I've got a suggestion.
So Microsoft Installer, that's the other thing. I don't like when people try and install patches. So Microsoft Installer is what installs patches. So essentially, I kind of ripped Microsoft Installer a new one and said, okay, when you hit the next button to kind of start the install, it skips to finish. So if you try and install like Wireshark, it uses Microsoft Installer. Guess what? Next, finish. Whoa, that was a fast install.
So I suggest MSI that, and you just delete the installation memory stuff from the entire registry, but don't have it write any of the files. They're all there. It doesn't
You
have
can't
any
do
of
it.
them registered with the system. So when it tries to run any of those things, it won't because they're already up. They're already not.
Oh, I
registered.
replaced MSI install or exec with my own one.
Nice.
Very nice.
Note taking. Okay, so second, lateral movement. So so this is all connectionless except for this last finalized entry at the bottom. And the only thing that it really does on lateral movement for connection is over SMB, since I'm a Windows guy, right? So if you log in to an infected machine with monomyositis, and I have that spelled wrong, so I apologize. If you log into an infected machine, it steals your credentials. If you change the password, it steals your credentials. And then guess what? It knows your credentials for a very long time. And then it sends those credentials along with its installation to any other box that it can get to. And then that one does the same thing, and that one does the same thing, and that one does the same thing. So, like, literally when I first developed and did an end-to-end test on this thing on my VMs, it was installed and on all VMs in my ESX cluster within 30 seconds.
That's nice.
And I didn't do it, but I didn't install it except for on one. And it was across my domain, my virtual domain in 30 seconds. Now I had that without the timeouts, without the time, so it was doing everything real time. But so the second thing is it infects USB sticks. I'm going to kind of gloss over conveniently how it infects USB sticks. But let's just say if you take a USB stick home
Don't plug it
or
in.
to your university or to some government agency that you work for part-time, please don't plug it in.
Disclaimer,
From
it's
CCDC,
your fault.
it's not my fault. Yes.
Remind me to tell you after the pre-book.
Okay. So I found this weird thing when I was going through all these GPOs and all this Windows like deep dive stuff drink. There's this weird setting that on a domain controller. So if I ever get access to your domain controller, so yes, this has to be a privileged thing. If I ever get access to your domain controller, there's this weird little like LDAP thingamajig that says when a computer logs on to the domain, so at restart, run this on it. So it's not anywhere, like, it's not in the GPOs anywhere. It doesn't show up in any GUI that I can find. And it says, when this, at restart, when this computer comes online, install it. Any computer, like star. So, if you rebuild your box from a snapshot and it launches back into the main, I'm back on the box.
If you have previously infected the domain controller.
If I got to the domain controller point, and that usually happens very quickly.
Okay.
So,
What I'm saying is unless you rebuild pretty much the entire target environment.
Yep.
You're on.
yes. So at Shmoocon, I showed this to a couple people, and I'm not done with my slides, but I showed this to a couple people, and they're like, so how do you stop it?
Not my job. It's not my job.
I reverted my snapshots. Well, how are they supposed to stop it? Like when they're done? I don't know.
You have to start from scratch. It sounds like what you're saying.
Basically, rebuild it from the ground
That's
up,
what I'm
starting
saying.
with the domain
Yeah.
controller, and pray to God you got backup.
You have to
That have
freaking
not been
Darren
affected.
Putin and stuff, everything.
But it has to be at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't take all the machines offline at the same time, if you revert one,
Get rid of it. It's gonna
Right.
constantly rebuild it.
it's going to find itself. The great thing is it's like it does peer-to-peer credential sharing. So if one box knows about credentials like from a while ago, it will go and say, oh, I knew that you used these credentials at some point over here. Wham!
So unless you scorch earth it, you're screwed.
Yes.
So you're going to enable delegation to everything, or everything, as well.
Maybe.
Okay.
You're dropping this sauce.
God damn it.
Well, I'm figuring it out. I'm sorry. It's just,
Yeah. So, so the only connection it does is once in a blue moon, and there are some triggers that I can do for it, is it says, hey, Rob, here's all the credentials.
Will we be referring
So that's
to
the only connection that happens.
Will we be referring to as the next Morris?
Yeah. I'm waiting for the slide about how he takes it off
The
at the
movie
end of the
form?
game,
Yes,
right?
yes. That's why you come in.
You don't need to. Yeah.
So here's the snazzy jazz part of it. Each piece of functionality is actually separate from each other.
Oh.
There isn't a single
Oh.
executable to run, or kill, or delete. There isn't a DLL to delete. Pretty much each piece of this operates independently. And the great thing is, if one piece, so on the box itself, if one piece notices that another piece is gone, it says, oh, there it is.
I see your
There it is.
For all of them.
For all the pieces. It also says, so for whoever's listening and for you in the room who are blue team members, if you do delete one piece of it, it says, I'm under attack, and kind of shuts down for a second and goes to sleep. It goes, okay, I'm gone, and then comes back. So how this relates back to that caterpillar is I basically make it so that you can't secure this box. Like, so the only thing you can do is put an ASA in front of it and say, Rob cannot get on this machine at all. So I can't stop that. I'm not a Cisco hacker. I'm more of a Windows guy. So, but if one of my red team fellow red teamers ever get on your Windows box, I am going to give them the installer for this thing. So it's going to go very quickly. Ready for the kicker?
This is Windows only?
It is Windows only. But I just had a conversation at, I showed this to someone that does the Linux side of things for CCDC, and he's like, yeah, I could do a lot of that in Linux.
Oh God.
I don't know if I really want to release this or not, because if I do and someone uses it in my organization, it might go very quickly, and me that also very quickly. So that's Lono, and that will be released on the world at CCDC.
God help us all.
Please,
May God have
please,
mercy on your soul.
please do not take your USBs home.
So Rob, that's the obvious question, right? Is you know, you've written a really strong piece of malware, right? If this shit gets out,
So I have
aren't
a
you
suggestion.
potentially really fucked?
Yes. I mean, I know that much, and I'm
So,
suggestion: make it specific to only function on VMs.
nope, that wouldn't help.
Put
No.
kill date in for after
No.
CCDC.
There shall be a kill date.
Right. Yeah.
There isn't one right now, because I was like, why would I ever think about the fence of this thing? Why- you know,
Die.
so, yeah, there's going to be a kill date in a specific part. I don't want them to find it and just change the date to forward, you know. So I have to figure out a way to verify the date, or something other. Like, I have a few ideas on how to make it so that blue teamers can't, you know, do the keygen thing where you forward your or reverse your time to a specific time.
Hash a
Make it
DNS
patch when
record,
it's done.
so if it looks it up, it
Make it patch when it's done.
Yeah, make it revert back and everything's fine.
I can't revert those.
That's the whole problem, is you can't do that.
Yeah, it's so
Sometimes you have
overly
to treat that
aggressive.
code- You have to treat that code like a control stuff.
How about scheduling
I'm just
an
saying,
address for?
I agree. And it's like if somebody takes it home, right, it's not gonna.
Oh yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Like when someone first suggested if they're going to take it to their like, because the thing that I don't talk about in the slides is it does shares too.
Oh god.
So what I-
Brian, thank you.
After that CCDC, you have to treat it like it's a controlled substance and let people know that anything that's touched this machine once it's infected is potential infected.
Right. Oh, not potential.
For liability's sake, you would say potential versus the reality of the fact that you know they're going to screw something if they plug it in and let them know. That's no joke. It is deadly serious. That any Windows machine you plug anything that's been USB connected is a
It's a live virus.
Yeah, it's a live active element.
So Lono really doesn't care about IP space.
And we'll all be at that next CCDC just laughing. So.
It's become a spectator sport.
I've never seen a blue team cry.
So that's really like, that's how I get even on this thing. Like I got pissed that I was getting kicked out of boxes, and now I don't want to get kicked out of boxes anymore. But so the saving grace of this whole thing is if you have an ASA in front of it, everything I do to this Windows box I can't get back onto, right? But if I have one Linux host that I can pivot through, I can get onto all the Windows boxes.
Very nice.
And that's really it. Like that's the slides. Anyone have any questions on like how it works or what it does or whatever?
Brian?
If the blue team apologized to you, would you just stop using it?
If
For last year.
hold on, if a whole blue team shows up to a Nova Hackers, the whole complete one, I will not use it on their team.
What's the next?
National CCDC.
And that's open to any blue team. That way it's open to everyone.
Might let people online know that. They'll be here on the Very nice.
Does that apply to Linux also, or just your Windows version of it?
What?
Does that only apply to your Windows version of it, or the Linux too? For your
Oh, that only applies to my Windows side. I make no promises to the guy that does the Linux side.
In terms of the environment, is it purely ASAs for the network firewalls, or
No, they switch them out
application
sometimes. For CCDC, it's been ASAs at Mid Atlantic for ever since I was there, but at Nationals they played a trick. So it was ASAs there all previously, but at Nationals they were like, oh, our infrastructure team decided we're switching to Juniper, and so they gave them a manual for Juniper and said, good luck.
You can kind of cheat by checking who the sponsors are.
True. Yeah.
Is there a reason you're not doing any kind of C2 other than just not being super evil?
Well, I don't want to show up in there. I don't want to show up in processes lore, and I don't want to show up in TCP view, and I don't. So the only way you can catch this thing,
Decentralized, it doesn't.
Yeah.
but you have a separate thread that recreates.
No, but I understand what he's saying. What you're saying is that like you want it to be decentralized so that you can't
You
won't
can't shut it
shut it
down.
It exists on its own. It does.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely
Well,
automated.
once you're on everything, right?
Wait, good
would
way
it
to
make
put
sense
it.
to try to have some manual?
It would.
Doors don't need it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's got access to
It would,
everything,
but
so-
then they would stop it. Like,
Right. And you said the only time that they would possibly notice when it's actually passing friends out.
yeah, and I do that a number of ways and not the same way twice.
Right. So other than that, I mean, you don't really need anything. You know, the machine is vulnerable. It's going to constantly be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then anything you're doing on it is going to be provided to you eventually. So you just lay back and wait.
Otherwise, you'd have a single point of failure, and if they're able to find where it's calling back to possible network signatures, and
Yeah. Right. Because then they
Screw
can
'em.
build a signature and say, hey,
Yep.
stop that, and then stop that, and stop this one.
Yep, and there's zero connection other than it spreading,
Very
and
nice.
and even when it spreads, it uses signed SMB. So good luck looking at it.
Hey, so the moral of the story is do not piss off Rob and lock him out of boxes.
Right. Once I own a box, it's mine. Damn it.
The moral of the story is just give all your credits to Rob, and this will never hit the box.
So obviously, I can never use this on a real pen test, but
You mean you want people to rebuild their infrastructure?
Your infrastructure is weak. Rebuild it now.
You want to simulate an
You could use
APT
it on a
attack?
real test
Okay.
to fix itself.
what?
You could use it on a real pen test.
It's
It
not
will fix
going
itself.
But
No,
they're
they
gonna
would
fix
propagate
this. The
out.
machine
There would
would
be
be
no way to
so
really
loaded.
fix it.
Yeah, the machine is so bad at this point. There's no way to fix it.
That's right.
You could propagate it.
No, there's literally no way to fix it because each one of its tendrils would see a fix coming and kill it.
Yeah. What he's saying
Not
is
if
you
you
have
change
to,
the
you
time
have
and
to
make
need
it
that.
less quick.
No, like there's like so Brian, close your ears for a second.
Is that an emergency?
There's literally 30 pieces to this thing
Oh Jesus. So
So Rob, couldn't you
on each box.
couldn't you build one of the pieces that a 31st, right? That is aware, right? So that when it gets a command, it says, you know, it propagates out the opposite direction. It says, hey guys, I want you all to kill yourself, and then I'm going to take over and reinstall Microsoft Update. Basically, you
No,
could do
but
that.
I'm literally patching DLLs. I'm live patching DLLs. I'm live patching Microsoft installer.
The things that don't work.
I'm making it so that it doesn't work.
Right.
So if you're
And what you have to do is
Right, but
create
you know
another
the
side that
specific
says,
things
after
that you've
time,
done.
repatch it with
But
fix
you
it.
have to kill it on the
You have to have a backup version and replace
Well,
it
the point is you've got to look at
all
the
the way
reason.
through.
You've got to look at the reason that he wrote it. He didn't write it so that it would ever. The whole frame of mind was never to.
Yeah, it's to piss off blue
unfuck a
team.
box. It's literally,
Like, that's
it's
all.
literally to fuck everything. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's gonna get out.
This is a
Rob,
good infrastructure killer. Is
Rob,
the Azure.
Have you ever tried to unblend
Robert
something that
Morris
was blended?
Jr. was
Yeah.
tenured at MIT after 30 years. I just want to mention that.
What?
Morris.
Robert Morris Jr. was tenured at MIT after 30
After
years
30 years, after
releasing
releasing
the
the
first
Morris
one,
worm.
which took out 80% of the internet.
So what he's saying, 30 years from now, you'll have an awesome professor job.
Don't worry about that jail time though. I mean, it'll be done in no time.
But does your dad work for MIT or does
NSA.
he work for NSA? I want to make sure. Yeah.
That would be pretty baller. Professor Mubix, I fuck your systems.
So did that help you? Like you came here to
There's no defense against that shit.
You get owned once and just give up. Just like walk away. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure walk away or just crawl into a little ball.
So I will give you this. I think the 30-year-old bottle of scotch will be yours.
So what he's not saying is there's a 30-year-old bottle of scotch that is up for grabs for red teamers every year. We've only got it once to make a CCDC blue team cry. So he's saying that it's going to be mine.
Although Tim's not going to be the one running the network.
But he's going to be there.
Will he still have the outro?
Yep.
I figured. He just wants to see the students cry.
Yeah, like if I can make blue team cry, like so.
Just to make them
good.
think openly.
Yeah.
In terms of the overall scenario, how much time do they have on their boxes before you start attacking?
Game time 0. Everybody starts.
Absolutely no.
Man.
And
Which is why that whole part where on Chris's blog post, where that guy said, "Oh, we could win, and there's nothing you could do about it," was so comical. And why I kept saying, "Hey, let's let him try CCDC and see how he does."
so one of the things
He's
that
probably thinking that he gets a head start, like he gets to lock his system.
Oh no, it was in the post.
Yeah, I think it was. I think always at prequels they give you 30 minutes before like they're gonna start hitting you, but like on the real deal like stuff, it's game on.
No, they don't give us time.
so one of the things that Tim suggested this year, and he suggested every year, is we supply some kind of binary for them to pre-infect the machines. And I started to think about it, and then I was like,
That's too
wait,
easy.
they're gonna run it in the VMs before they get there.
Oh,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no. Because that probably is connected to the corporate network.
Somewhere.
So,
No, this is actually
I guess they kick it all coded in PowerShell, right?
Not yet.
Is this all running in application space or where is?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
what
that.
level is it running at?
Everywhere.
Okay.
So
All the way up and down
the
the
kernel
machine.
level rootkit though.
Nope, this is not a rootkit.
So in other words, a kernel level defensive rootkit could be used to defend against this. And if they were doing
What would it defend against?
well,
I'm using new Windows functionality. Every piece of this is Windows
Yeah,
functionality.
you can't walk that.
no, I think the command channel would be one thing.
What command
would be
channel?
one thing to.
I'm not executing stuff.
Yeah, but talking about an ASA is kind of like talking about the 1990s. So I'm a little bit curious about how it would fare against something like an application layer firewall that's actually smart.
An application layer
So
firewall.
that would be the first thing.
What do you mean, an
Along with
application
that-
layer firewall? Let's go one at a time. Application layer firewall. Where is that? On the Windows system?
No, well, you'd be on the network. They'd have to. I was.
What would it authenticate? It's just SMB shares.
But you're gonna have to get back in. So
Well, I don't have to get back in.
That's the whole difference. Is
That's the whole
So
point.
what
I
about-
don't have a C2.
Okay, so what about that in conjunction with something like if they had extensive whitelisting and they were installing a kernel level rootkit?
Whitelisting of what?
Pardon?
Whitelisting of what?
Whitelisting of
I
memory.
don't have an EXE. I don't have a DLL. I'm not executing at that level.
So how is it running then?
That's my secret. I'll show you guys after CCDC.
Okay, in terms of like a standard hardened configuration, how much of what you use in terms of your functionality is actually enabled by that? So if you attempted that same attack against a just a generic hardened environment, how much of it would work?
About 99% of it.
Enough to make the rest of it work.
Seriously. This is an
infrastructure killer.
This is
Exactly.
all Windows functionality, built-in Windows functionality, base Windows functionality. There really isn't like anything I'm using outside of the box.
You just closed down Microsoft. Just gets released, Microsoft did it away.
Are you going to send it after
That would be long.
Send it to who?
Microsoft?
No. But the funny thing is, so last year, my Windows uninstaller, my Windows patch uninstaller got submitted to Microsoft, like on Saturday. On Sunday, it was a signature.
Wow.
I'm like, whoa.
Have you released the Windows patch uninstalled?
No, I didn't.
I didn't think so.
No, I didn't.
There's a signature for it.
There's a signature for it. So does anyone have any questions on how this works or anything? I'm willing to go deeper into it if you want, but
Please.
only to a certain level.
Please.
If you have questions.
Well, just start with this. If you're doing, if this was actually on a live active network,
Oh, God.
came to it for while we're discussing it, and you're doing incremental backups, you're backing this up to your backups.
Yes.
Yes. So when you go to do restores, you can't do restores.
Right.
You have to rebuild everything and wipe out.
Well,
the-
that's normal. But that's normal. That's every organization does and revert to prior to infection, right? That's normal though.
Everybody assumes they can go in and copy out most of their files because chances are it's probably not that bad.
What if you disconnected the entire network and simultaneously restore all?
That'd work. I do that with my VMs.
So here's the other question I was trying to doodle out. So you're, from domain controller down, done. Stand up a brand new forest, not shared, not trusted, completely separate.
If you log into one infected box, it will spread to the other
Right,
forest.
but even it will even go to another forest where
Yes.
it's not related? Yes. You said it's.
Middle jump forest is
So I just have one
You
question.
connect to one thing that's infected, when it hits everything.
Well, that's how.
And everything.
Caterpillars live in forests, man. That's the way it works.
Caterpillars live in forest. Perfect. That is a perfect. I'm stealing that. That's perfect.
Go for it.
Caterpillars live in forest.
Two
And,
things.
Yeah.
Number one, could this propagate from one team to another?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It probably will.
That was one obvious.
So this will be the year that probably shuts down CCDC.
They're gonna quit
So-
after
It
this.
would be scary if it was done like 20 minutes after
What?
it started.
Given the goal of CCDC,
It will be. That's the problem.
given the goal of
It's the
CCDC,
real world.
Right.
besides the fact that you're going to make a blue team or maybe a few cry, is there any hope of learning with this type of situation where nobody in this room has come up with, a way to defend against it?
Yeah.
I'm not
So
sure that any of
so
us
so
really
forensically.
do the whole can.
So forensically, you take this back and look at forensically. You can dissect each piece of it and stop it.
Yeah, 'cause
But it's not going to happen in 3 days.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm aware of
this.
this.
You can infect the USB drive, and if you can find it, then you can start looking at it like on site.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not going to be done in 3
They'll
days.
spend 2 to 3 days backing up, trying to restore stuff, and by the final day, they may get to the point where they figure out a couple of those easy. They
Yeah.
won't get 30. They won't get anywhere near that.
Yeah.
You said their environment is all VMs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all just ISO.
So the interesting thing is that all of the VMs in the infrastructure, all 8 teams, have the same passwords because they just clone everything instantly on the first when game starts.
you
So
pop
guess
one
what?
box and you're all own.
So basically,
One box
the first seconds,
spread everywhere.
The first seconds of the competition, the scripts that they bring in pre-written own our network, and
I think this could be the fastest CCDC in history if you're able to pop it within.
I got mad.
Yeah, like I could just see like, okay, we can't do anything. We're only a minute in. Screw you, Rob. Here's the ball.
So if you had the thing, you could forensically analyze it. You could get a signature for it, and you said that's not a file.
Right.
So when I say signature, I don't know what kind of signature we're talking about.
So
But then you can shut it down, turn everybody off, restore one at a time, and then create something that watches for the signature, and you'd be done, right? Then you'd be good. But you're saying it'll take more than 3 days.
right. So
Seems reasonable.
the problem is if they get rid of 5 pieces of it, it automatically goes into nuke mode.
RM.
So what it does is if you have AV on the box, it throws eCar everywhere in registry. So then AV eats your box.
I think that's how I'm gonna wipe my box from now on. Just like spray it. That'll be the first wipe.
I just want to say, like, I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody, we're sorry. And
Here, take both of my computers.
so I can pretty much guess what's going to happen is after the first 2 or 3 rounds of the whole network dying,
Because they're gonna ask me to leave.
Achievement unlocked.
basically, yes. They're going to either
I was
toss it
very
out
proud
and
to
tell
be
you.
asked to join the national team. I was also very proud when I was asked to leave the national team.
Before I got to play again.
Well, I just
I mean,
Playing.
literally I sat down after CCDC and said, I don't like being knocked out of boxes.
so
And I spent the last 12 months figuring out how to do that.
the only way I could see this actually being,
Fair?
we'll call this reasonable to an extent,
Okay.
would be like after 2 times of destroying the entire competition environment, which is going to happen.
It doesn't destroy it. It will function completely.
Yeah.
You just can't patch anything.
It functions. It's a Windows functioning
So
system.
after the second time you destroy the entire competition environment,
Okay.
stop using it. They may ask you after the first one,
How do I stop using it? There's no connection to me. How do I stop it?
they will revert the entire environment because they're going to have to.
At the
Somebody's
same
going to
time?
break shit.
At
Yeah,
the same
that's
time?
the thing. Like that would take
Yeah, well,
forever.
They have one
Ryan's
USB
he
stick.
will.
Well,
right?
if it's all
What if that
VMs,
USB stick
We're
gets
going to
infected?
disorganized.
Oh, yeah.
I can do that the entire environment. They'll whine about having to actually revert everything.
Nope.
Hey, Rob.
yeah, but if it's all VMs, the reversion.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad because you air-gap networks.
Do blacklist all of
Oh, it's already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it's ever going to be?
When you say 30 pieces.
See, he's way ahead of
talking about this. That's a great.
He's got 12 months.
And the great thing is, AppLocker doesn't focus on an executable or even a hash of an executable. It says anything signed by sysinternals, kill it.
No, I say 30
Individual functionality,
and then
say
say, oh,
function
you're off.
methods that are actually running
Replace it all
an
with
individual
console
it
version of
might be
Nightcap.
so that for like 30 pieces on one.
Yeah.
So it's 30 different spots on a single Windows or a single Windows system.
So we can think of this as an entity, and then it's just running 30
It's like a
functions
nebulous
amongst the
cloud.
But there's no extra which is already bad.
Are you persisting to this resource?
Yes.
So my next question
It goes after an
more for the
MBR.
audience, and that's, can you think of any hope of doing anything about it?
No, that's what we're doing.
That's not what I was
Past 20 minutes.
So, I don't know.
This is
Bob, you've got a
When
grin on
Microsoft
your
patches
face,
something,
you've got
it needs
something
to
you want to tell us.
unregister any kind of signing on old VLLs.
I'm just saying, this is friggin' Dante's Gate, abandon all hope. There's no
Here's how you do it.
Bob told you how
It
to
needs
get past this.
all of you need to come,
And he will not release it.
Here's how you do it. You quickly host-only mode everything. Try to put those firewalls or something. Change your passwords really fast.
Only.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They weren't work very well anyway, but.
Well, I think the key is doing the
The research.
Yeah.
You did come to the conclusion with the distributed functionality. What was most of the research? Was it work I've seen you do already? So the functionality was internal Windows files.
So basically, how I wrote this, the funny thing is how I wrote this was I read the
This would
Windows
prevent
file.
something like a
Yeah.
I read
auto
Windows
parsing
file.
script from doing the exact opposite.
Here's the thing, you can't, as the team, you can't bring in.
That was literally me
No, but they said
Writing
they-
notes.
So if you had an auto parsing box,
I
based on
want to
an
do
auto
this.
parsing
I want to do this.
that basically from
So
your
I
entire
actually know
network,
CCDC.
You have to write the script on the spot. You can bring notes.
So they gain
bring
points for searches down or renting,
They would have to code it on the
renting
fly.
language.
So
And
anything
zero
that's
sum
moderately
So,
sophisticated will still take some
Pure
time.
points to that.
So
it might be worth it to
So-
take a.
So service down.
yeah, it might be worth
Services
it
are all
taking
down
out
while you're
points.
clearing stuff.
Post mode.
Well,
No, they can leave their services on. I don't do anything
It
against services,
doesn't
but I'm
insert it on the bot, the way Mandy
So you can either
and then
clean me
Mandy and
or
alleged
take outages for
users.
service.
I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. You can't just nuke it. You have to down everything, every build,
Just fine.
everything.
Yes.
Yes. That's the only way to make sure that they don't have it. And that doesn't mean you're not going to get reinfected.
Oh, they will.
Yeah,
That's my point. Because they'll plug their USB sticks in and get
That's
their
the
patches
problem.
back.
No, even then,
I'm talking about other teams. They're going to get hit by
even
other
then,
teams.
another team will, and it'll
Yeah.
propagate back.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can have blue teams gonna be attacking each other.
For the purpose, right?
So
They
are you
also
considering-
iron that and just drink.
So the first thing you do is lock access.
Wait.
How is that
Okay.
set up to a point where you're not infecting past CCDC?
Air gap. Complete air gap.
Yeah, CCDC's area.
For now.
Forever,
That's
especially with
fast
this.
that, the first network isn't.
You might want to.
When will you be having a conversation with the
2.5 minutes.
So they're
I'll just put it.
totally air gapped, so they just have one USB stick.
Yeah, but they have a USB stick they take between the internet machine with executables and back to their machine.
So are you,
How are we gonna keep
Yeah,
them
it's
from
something
going the other
it's
direction?
like hot patch.
How's the USB stick not going to carry this back to the internet machine?
Yeah, if they're like, oh, we need to download some patches.
Oh,
Out again.
It doesn't call out. There's no
That's
sound.
why I currently-
How it's gonna get patched?
I don't know how exactly how he's doing it.
But you're saying this is being they open up the internet.
There's some little amount of Windows file share back.
So that Windows machine, those internet machines are behind that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. It's nothing.
And they're just downloading, and they're not trying it out on that. Hopefully.
So,
Famous left.
where does system internals a Windows share? An open SMB share on the internet?
Yeah, but it's
Yes, they do. But you don't have authentication right here.
That's true.
Do
So
you
Rob,
are
so-
modding the 80 MX templates on the GP, on the main installer, so all the options change to what you want to be?
I cannot currently, but I will.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
idea.
have a close.
They'll do the same thing.
You mentioned a little bit about your command channel. Can you?
There's no command channel.
So how do you connect back to boxes?
No, yeah,
When you log in?
He has creds.
Well, he has creds, so
I
he's
have-
logging in over
I
the
have
network.
creds, and I don't need them. I make it so that the box will allow me to execute whatever I want without authentication.
Can you go back 2 slides? 3 slides?
I really do like this idea.
I don't, right?
That one?
I
Yeah,
enjoy
go
it.
for it.
It's a fun idea. If you're gonna destroy stuff, destroy stuff.
One more.
That's fine.
One more. Good. Oh, wait a second. Let's see.
Why go halfway?
You mean
Yeah, back.
that one?
That's damn funny. Yeah, you're a kid.
No.
Is that you when you were younger?
Yes, with pigtails.
That's what you need. There you
Tonight.
It has to Yeah, it has to say that. It's gotta say that.
This year's Mid-Atlantic is gonna be back.
So Rob,
Yeah.
CCDC is a competition between red and blue or between the different blues?
Between the different blues, they just have to protect against us.
Between the
So,
world
let's assume it's probably a reasonably good assumption. No one can protect against it. All of the blues are completely infected in 1 second.
Yes.
And the only way that they can hatch it is to simultaneously take down all the blue teams, right? And come back up. So now winning is not about infected versus not infected because all the teams are going to be even.
I'm not doing anything
Interesting.
services.
Yeah,
Exactly.
interestingly-
All my services are still up. So now what I have to do is, in fact, what I want to do is
Leave yourself infected.
and take down the other blue team.
Just wait for the blue teams to take their stuff down to patch, and you
Yes.
just leave your stuff up.
Exactly.
That's how you
end
win.
up scoring
Right.
nice points.
Or wait a second, I know that they're all protected, right? Why don't I attack the blue teams?
You can't attack other blue teams.
Blue can't
No, but
Blue cannot blue
No.
protect.
But if you do leave your system infected and still keep your services going when everyone's rebuilding, you're scoring points while they're taking the time to be out of the game.
And it's also in reinfecting them.
Yeah, that's true. So when they come back up, they're reinfected. If you just don't care for a moment,
Right.
you
Or
keep
ever.
rolling, while they're rebuilding, you're scoring points.
Because that's what I'm doing.
That's just rude.
Rob's gone out for coffee at this point.
No, Rob just got angry.
It wouldn't make a difference.
No,
Yeah.
it's still infected.
Alright.
No,
One at a time.
Don't worry, they
Yeah.
don't slide before that.
Just we wouldn't infect that. We're still screwed. Yeah.
every team
Yeah.
would have to show up next to a hacker meeting.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the outline again. What outline? Did you have an outline?
Oh, the GPO one?
Yes.
That one?
They want to see that slide, but okay.
So do they
Dude,
have,
that's awesome.
do the teams have installers for the services and stuff, or do they just have the ability?
They
to
start installed.
They start
And there's some business injects.
Question at all.
There's some business injects that they have to do installs of something.
But could they rebuild their infrastructure without just rolling back the VMs that they're only on?
Wouldn't
They-
matter.
It does a bit.
Yeah, they can rebuild it with. So Tim comes around and deducts points by giving you this or reverting your VMs to a backup.
With the original password.
That was my question.
With the original password, it goes way back before I installed anything.
But then you still don't pass.
But can they reinstall without it? That's the question.
No.
So the Western Regional, I've done it where they've been on the VMs before and they've converted back, but we've blown away the VM server. And so they couldn't get it.
They've already done that, and apparently gotten yelled at for it in previous
Yeah.
years.
We're not
They
supposed
got
to do
shit
that.
on hard. They're not allowed to do that.
Okay, so that was kind of what I was curious is, and what they did is they asked for the CDs at this point, and that was the only thing I was thinking would take this out of the equation, that it block you off and then install from scratch.
On
Even if
all
it's
of
not from
them,
Scratch.
At the same time.
all of them at the same
Well,
time,
that-
and other teams at the same time.
Doesn't
You're right.
necessarily have to
Down the
be-
network.
But they
Yeah,
don't.
but
It doesn't take anything down. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no, like to fix it, everything has to go down and off.
The only winning move is not to play.
Yes.
Exactly right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I basically.
Game within the game.
Take every document type and
Not
execute
the-
it.
the action.
And every single
Fuck off, dude.
Hey, no, I'm thinking of a different defense right now, and that is, if they're all in a VM environment, they could patch their network across the board comprehensively right down on the spot if they knew how to do that. Through VMware, they can actually drop in a firewall immediately. If they,
between all of their hosts?
Yeah, that's a thing.
No, it would protect the entire network stack of all VMs.
So I just want to throw this in there. Reminder: all these students are
They're like
college students who have never
yeah.
been out in the industry. So among my team, I have probably 5 times more experience than any other person.
Like one of
They don't have the. They're assuming that we do not have the capability to actually go on the ISA and change the SNMP right string and password, and they get every ASA that with that issue alone every time.
I'm pretty sure like one of the stipulations is even like if you do work in the industry, you can't work more than like 20 hours a week or something. Like
They blew that away finally,
right.
but you have to be a full-time student. Tell me how you can work in the industry
Exactly.
and be a full-time student.
Yeah, no one's a full-time sysadmin and a full-time student.
Even if you were a full-time sysadmin,
This is still
this is still.
So you guys like good stuff?
You did an amazing job. If anybody comes up with all the methods that